The government's on a mission to get more than 2 million Brits back to work. Today it's pledging a £240 million investment to target and tackle the root causes of unemployment.
And parts of the country with the highest levels of joblessness will get extra NHS mental health support with a greater focus on prevention to stop people becoming ill in the first place. The Work and Pensions Minister Alison McGovern joins us now. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Susanna.
We've been having this debate on the programme this morning that there are obviously people with genuine reasons that they can't work and they've been getting in touch with us. They might be physical disabilities, they might be that employers can't accommodate their particular challenges, or they might simply be that they have a mental health issue. But how many of the people who are currently jobless would you classify, using the word of Daily Mail journalist Andrew Pearce, as shirkers?
Well, I just try to think about the facts and the things that we do know. And roughly speaking, of those people who are out of work because they're not well, at least 20% of them tell the survey that we have that they do want a job. You know, we've got some people who are really unwell, but we've got people who are out of work because they're not well and they do want a job. So we need to focus help on those people. You know, I think in this debate...
So just to establish, do you think that every single person currently of the millions who are out of work and say they have, for instance, a mental health issue, do you think that every single one is genuine? Because frankly, we can talk about all of the detail, but when you get into a sort of public debate about it, that's what you're constantly being told by people. There are people who are simply lying about the fact that they can't work. I mean, I just wonder whether you think that's genuine and what proportion of people you think that applies to.
Well, I think it applies to a very small proportion. I don't think that we have a really good estimate, but I think it's very small. And the reason why I think that is because that all of the evidence that we have says that people do want to work, and particularly those with health conditions have faced significant challenges. When it comes to the kind of public discussion here, I think two things are really important. Firstly, we need everybody to have confidence in the system. That means there being rules. So if you receive social security, if you get universal credit or another benefit, there are certain things that you have to do, and we should all take responsibility for doing those things, and people need to have confidence in the rules. The second part is that I wouldn't blame any person with a disability or with a health condition for feeling quite worried at the moment. We know that it is hard to get a job if you've got, you know, a condition that goes up and down and you're a bit unsure about how it's going to affect you. And we also know that the NHS has completely fallen over. The Tories have left us with an NHS that is not functioning well at all. So I don't blame anybody who's in that position for being scared. And so the public discussion has got to give people confidence and also give those people who want a job and who need help and support the confidence that they're going to get it.
The problem is, Alison McGovern, that sounds very thoughtful and very kind, but the Sunday newspapers were full of articles and headlines from the Prime Minister Keir Starmer and from your boss, the Secretary of State Liz Kendall, saying we are going to take benefits away from young people who won't take jobs. We're going to crack down on this benefit culture. They're saying something very different from you. They're saying that they are going to crack down on people who are defrauding the system.
The shirkers.
So isn't the answer to Susanna's question that yes, there are those people and you're cracking down on them?
There are people who have criminally defrauded the social security system. There was an absolutely horrendous case that was prosecuted last year, about 18 months ago, of a group of people who, you know, worked together to steal money from the social security system completely fraudulently, and I was absolutely disgusted by that case. I read Keir's article on Sunday, and he quite rightly pointed out the effect that having his first job had on him, that sense of confidence, that sense that you could put money in your own pocket by your own efforts. I recognise that. That was my story. I remember getting my first paycheck like it was yesterday and the difference that that made to me. So the problem that we've got is that far too many of our young people, the pandemic generation, who, in my opinion, have been completely failed, are not getting those chances and opportunities. There's responsibility on all of us to take up good opportunities, including young people, and there's a responsibility on the government to do more for our young people.
OK, so if there are all these young people who are not working and they're not shirkers and they're not criminals, what is the reason they're not working that you can fix?
So we know that there are an increased number of young people who are not well, and as I mentioned, the NHS has been left with really serious problems after, the state the Tories left it in, and I think that we can fix that.
How?
That will help. I think that we can help get the investment in, but it's more than that, because it's not just health. I think when you start your job as a young person, you get confidence and experience of what it's like to be in work, and you also get ideas about the kind of jobs that you want to do in the future. And the best support programs that I have seen for young people do that. They help build confidence, they give people skills, and they help give people ideas about the kind of work that they want to do. And that is what our investment that we're announcing today is going to do. It's going to give people those pathways into better jobs.
Can I ask you some, some facts about your projections? You are doing some consultations. You're going to spend £240 million, but you've also said that the previous government's claim that they could reduce welfare spending by £12 billion a year by the end of the Parliament, that you can deliver that. How many more people will that mean to get those savings back into work? And how many people do you think will have to pay a sanction to be pushed back into work?
So the 12 billion figure they hadn't allocated, that was part of their fantasy budget. They had particular changes that they wanted to make to the work capability assessment that would make some savings, not that much, that would make some savings. We have said that we will deliver those savings because they were in the budget, and we have to make tough choices. But we will bring forward our own proposals on doing that. We'll bring forward our own plan. I have to say,
is that happening today?
No, that is happening in the future. We have a process to go through to change our job centres, to reform the system, and also to look at the situation for people with disabilities and who have ill health in this country, and we'll bring forward more proposals on that shortly.
So the budget confirmed that you're going to get the savings, but you're not going to tell us today how you're going to change the work capability assessment to get the savings, but you're going to bank the savings anyway.
We will bring forward our own proposals on that. I would simply say to you, if the Tories were going to be successful by changing social security or by whatever their policies were remember levelling up, that was supposed to deal with poor employment in whole swathes of our country where people are left on the scrap heap and towns fail. The Tories were supposed to deal with that. They had 14 years and they failed. So we're going to bring forward our own proposals. What we're saying today is about how we need to change job centres because they really haven't improved or been modernised in a very long time, and they're not good enough to help people as they are at the moment. So we're going to bring forward those changes, help get people back into work, and really help our economy move on.
OK, Alison McGovern, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.